moving on to the second part of the video, which deals with how authorship is established. The owner of any copyright of any work shall vest in the author or in the co-authors of the work. Exceptions to the general rule in copyright ownership: where a literary or artistic work is made by an author in the course of their employment, by the proprietor of a newspaper, magazine, or similar periodical, and is made for the purpose of publication, the proprietor is the owner of the copyright in the work, insofar as the copyright relates to the publication of the work. When photographs are taken for the purpose of payment or commission, the commissioner will be the owner of the copyright. The statutory rule applicable to these exceptions is as follows. Parties may contract out of the exceptions and have the actual author or an entirely different entity own the copyright in such work. Furthermore, the vesting of ownership by virtue of the exceptions is subject to moral rights. There are three ways in order to acquire authorship: by assignment, by testamentary disposition, or by operation of law. We will look at assignment in detail on the next slide, but understand that testamentary disposition occurs when the copyright passes to an heir through inheritance, and ownership through operation of law takes place when a copyright holder becomes insolvent and their estate is taken over and distributed amongst the copyright holder's creditors. Assignment has the effect of passing and vesting the entirety of the rights assigned to the assignee. The requirement for assignment are that it must be in writing and signed by or on behalf of the assigner, and the contract indicating the assignment must clearly indicate the intention and agreement of the parties to transfer or to acquire ownership, and the subject of assignment must be clearly identifiable. A way to acquire ownership rights, not authorship, in a copyright work is through a license. Different kinds of licenses with different effects can be found. An exclusive license grants permission to the exclusion of all other persons, including the copyright owner, to perform certain restricted acts in relation to a protected work. Then there are non-exclusive licenses, which may be granted orally or in writing, and may be inferred from the conduct of the parties, and the license may be granted to several parties. And lastly, a sole license affords a licensee the right to perform the agreed acts to the exclusion of other persons except the licensor. Essentially, both the licensor and the sole licensee can exercise the rights in question. That brings us to the end of this lesson. Hopefully you found it helpful.
Created using Powtoon.